Hey, here's a story from Robert Walter. He answered a mind-blowing what-if on Quora. What would happen if Titan and the Moon swapped places? His answer took things even further, to any planet or moon switching orbits with ours. Basically, here's what he meant, and his full response is in the comments below. Feel free to check it out and share your thoughts. If Titan swapped places with the Moon, it might not greatly affect life on Earth, but it would significantly impact humans and our technology. With its thick atmosphere and potential for liquid water, Titan would become an early target for exploration, a place empires might race to conquer. This could have accelerated the development of space technology for humanity. So, what if Earth's sky suddenly held another planet? Let's break it down together and explore this cosmic switcheroo on our channel. What if from Quora. One night, the sky changes. Imagine you're standing on Santa Monica Beach under a silvery moonlight. Waves crash gently and the silver light dances on the water. But then, in an instant, everything changes. The Moon, Earth's companion for billions of years, shrinks, fades, and turns into a tiny speck of light, like a distant star. The ocean falls silent. The wind stops blowing. The night sky turns pitch black and cold. What just happened? The Moon has vanished, replaced by Deimos, a tiny rock from Mars. Welcome to What If Universal, where we explore wild but fascinating sci-fi scenarios. Today we will answer the question, what would happen if the Moon swapped places with Deimos, the smallest moon of Mars? Before we dive in, let's look at some scientific facts to understand why this scenario is so terrifying. The Moon is Earth's shield. With a diameter of 3,474 kilometers, the Moon keeps Earth's axis stable at 23.5 degrees, creating regular seasons and tides, critical for life. How small is Deimos? Deimos, Mars' smallest moon, is only 12.4 kilometers wide, smaller than Los Angeles, with a mass just 0.0005% of the Moon's. Tides depend on the Moon. Without the Moon, tides would nearly vanish, destroying coastal ecosystems and causing trillions of dollars in global economic damage. Climate instability would follow. Without the Moon, Earth's axis could wobble from 0 to 85 degrees, leading to catastrophic climate shifts, from ice ages in Florida to deserts in Alaska. Could this swap even happen? Though rare, cosmic events like asteroid collisions or gravitational waves from neutron stars could disrupt satellite orbits over millions of years. Can you picture it? An Earth without the Moon, with only tiny Deimos hanging in the darkness. The waves at Miami Beach would stop. The moonlit nights at Yosemite National Park would be just a memory. Could America and humanity survive this disaster? We'll explore that next, from silent oceans to chaotic climates, from empty night skies to humanity's desperate efforts. But first, if you love sci-fi stories like this, subscribe to What If Universal now. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us to explore the universe through captivating what-if scenarios. Every week we bring a new story, from black holes swallowing Earth to alien civilizations. Don't miss out. Join our science-loving community today. So, what happens if the Moon and Deimos swap places? Let's step into the year 2065, when an unthinkable cosmic event changes everything. The impact of the swap premise, cosmic waves and the swap. In August 2065, the night sky over America lights up with a strange phenomenon. A rogue neutron star traveling at millions of kilometers per hour grazes the edge of our solar system. Massive gravitational waves ripple outward, shaking the fabric of space. In a matter of hours, a cosmic miracle occurs. The Moon, Earth's satellite, and Deimos, Mars's moon, are yanked from their orbits and swap places in a dazzling burst of light. When New Yorkers look up, they see a faint speck of light where the bright full moon once shone. Deimos, a 12-kilometer rock, now sits in the Moon's orbit, 384,000 kilometers from Earth. Meanwhile, on Mars, the massive moon looms large, just 24,000 kilometers from the red planet's surface, casting a huge shadow. At the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, scientists are in a panic. The moon has shaped life on Earth for billions of years. Deimos, tiny and feeble, cannot replace it. Earth enters an era of uncertainty, and America, the world's economic, cultural and scientific hub, will be hit hardest. On Mars, NASA's research stations tremble under the weight of their new moon. Can these two planets adapt, or is this the beginning of their downfall? Without the moon, Earth, and especially America, faces unimaginable changes. Deimos, too small to make a difference, leaves a void that cannot be filled. Here are the profound impacts across different aspects, from oceans to climate, from culture to science, and even the fate of Mars. Silent oceans, the disappearance of tides. The moon was once the conductor of the oceans, pulling the seas up and down twice a day. At Miami Beach, Florida, tides once brought towering waves, attracting millions of tourists each year. But with Deimos, everything changes. With a mass of just 1.5 quadrillion kilograms, 10 million times smaller than the moon, Deimos cannot generate significant gravity. Tides stop. The ocean becomes a flat mirror, with only faint ripples from the wind. Ecosystems collapse. At Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, one of America's largest tidal ecosystems, blue crabs and oysters, the livelihood of thousands of fishermen, die in droves as tidal flows vanish. Migratory birds like seagulls can no longer find food, triggering a chain of extinctions. According to NOAA, 60% of America's coastal ecosystems from Louisiana to Maine collapse within 5 years. Coral reefs off Hawaii, once a famed tourist destination, become underwater graveyards as nutrient flows stop. The economy reels. The fishing industry, contributing $200 billion annually to the U.S. economy, collapses. Ports in Boston and Seattle become ghost towns with thousands of fishing boats abandoned. Fishermen in Alaska, where 60% of U.S. seafood is harvested, face mass unemployment. A food crisis spreads, tripling food prices and sparking social unrest in cities like Chicago and Los Angeles. Coastal tourism from Santa Monica to North Carolina's Outer Banks loses its allure as the seas go still. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, tourism loses $500 billion in annual revenue. Culture suffers a loss. In America, the ocean has always been an endless source of inspiration for cinema. That's why Hollywood films like Jaws and The Perfect Storm were born, celebrating the ocean's power and beauty. But now in Los Angeles theaters, those films are just memories. In New Orleans, Mardi Gras loses its riverside dances along the Mississippi, where the waters now lie flat. Children in California grow up without knowing the thrill of playing in the waves, hearing only stories of when the seas were alive from their grandparents. The community feels the loss. At San Francisco's Ocean Beach, a group of artists holds a farewell to the sea ceremony, painting giant waves on the sand as a way to say goodbye. An elderly woman, once a fisherman, shares, "The sea fed my family for 3 generations. Now it's dead, and so is a part of my heart." The sense of loss spreads across America, from small villages in Maine to major cities like Miami. Chaotic climate, Earth's wobble. The moon kept Earth's axial tilt stable at 23.5 degrees, creating predictable seasons. Deimos, far too small, cannot do this. Scientists at MIT predict that within 500 years, Earth's axis will wobble from 0 to 85 degrees, turning America's climate into a nightmare. Extreme weather hits hard. In Florida, known for its warm sunshine, blizzards strike in 2070, burying Miami under 6 feet of ice. Meanwhile, Alaska faces 104 degrees heat waves, melting glaciers in Denali National Park. Storms no longer follow seasons, striking unpredictably. A superstorm in Texas devastates Houston, causing $1 trillion in damage, according to FEMA. In the Midwest, Iowa's cornfields, America's breadbasket, dry up under abnormal heat, slashing agricultural output by 70%. Agriculture collapses. American agriculture, contributing $1.2 trillion annually, faces disaster. Seasons become erratic. California winters might last 3 years, while Montana summers never end. Apple trees in Washington wither, and grapes in Napa Valley stop bearing fruit. Famine spreads, with 40% of Americans relying on food aid. Supermarkets in New York go empty, sparking riots in Brooklyn and Harlem. Migration and conflict surge. Millions flee uninhabitable regions. People from Florida and Louisiana flood north, overwhelming cities like Minneapolis and Seattle. Conflicts erupt as states fight over clean water resources. In Arizona, where Lake Mead has dried up, small towns become battlegrounds over the last drops of water. According to the United Nations, 50 million Americans become climate refugees within 20 years. Society feels the loss. At Yellowstone National Park, activists hold a day of mourning for seasons, building snow sculptures of green trees to remember lost springs. A Kansas farmer, standing in a barren field, says, "We used to grow wheat for the world. Now I can't feed my own kids." America's pride, its abundance and stability, fades, replaced by uncertainty and fear. Empty night sky, the loss of moonlight. The moon once lit up America's skies, from camping nights at the Grand Canyon to outdoor concerts in Central Park. Deimos, smaller than a small town, is just a faint speck, invisible without a telescope. Biological disruption follows. Without moonlight, human circadian rhythms are thrown off. At Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, doctors report a 30% spike in insomnia, with millions of Americans battling depression. Nocturnal animals like owls in Sierra Nevada National Forest can't hunt, collapsing food chains. Even in the Gulf of Mexico, whales lose their way, washing ashore in Texas in record numbers. Culture fades. The moon was a symbol of America, from the Star-Spangled Banner evoking dawn's early light to romantic Hollywood films. In Nashville, country songs about moonlight lose their spark. Halloween in Salem, Massachusetts, once vibrant under moonlight, now takes place in darkness, losing its mystique. At Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, astronomers cancel moon-gazing nights because there's nothing left to see. The connection to the cosmos is lost. The pitch-black night sky leaves Americans feeling isolated. In Great Smoky Mountains National Park, once a stargazing haven, visitors see only a soulless void. A Chicago poet writes, "We used to dream of the stars. Now the sky reminds us we've lost our light." NASA's space programs, once inspiring millions, lose appeal as the sky no longer beckons. The community feels the loss. At Times Square, New York, a group of youths holds a moon memorial, lighting thousands of candles to recreate moonlight. A young girl shares, "I've never seen the moon, but I miss it, like a piece of my heart is gone." This loss is not just physical, but spiritual, leaving Americans feeling cut off from the cosmos. Stalled evolution. Life loses its drive. The moon's tides once drove life to migrate from oceans to land, creating biodiversity. Deimos cannot do this, stalling America's ecosystems. Biodiversity declines. In Florida's Everglades, one of America's most diverse preserves, alligators and flamingos vanish as tidal flows stop in the swamps. Tongass National Forest in Alaska loses 40% of its tree species, reducing timber and oxygen supplies. According to WWF, 50% of America's plant and animal species go extinct within 200 years, turning national parks into wastelands. Inspiration dries up. Nature once inspired America, from John Muir's landscape paintings to bio-inspired inventions. Now, in Silicon Valley, scientists lack new ideas as ecosystems lose diversity. In New York, art galleries stand empty as painters find no inspiration in a grey world. An existential crisis emerges. Americans begin to ask, who are we without nature? At Harvard University, philosophers debate the meaning of life when evolution stalls. A student writes, "The moon pulled us from the oceans to the land. Without it, we're just shadows in the dark." The community feels the loss. At Zion National Park in Utah, activists plant artificial gardens, trying to preserve a touch of green. One says, "We can't let Earth forget how to live." But deep down, they know life has lost its pulse. Mars quakes, a moon too big. On Mars, the massive moon triggers relentless quakes. NASA's research stations in Valles Marineris report constant tremors as the moon pulls hard on the red planet's crust. Geological chaos erupts. The Olympus Mons volcano erupts, spewing lava flows hundreds of kilometers long. Earthquakes melt underground ice, forming the first liquid water lakes in billions of years. American scientists discover microbes in the water, hinting at new life. But massive dust storms threaten to bury research stations. Human conflict arises. The 2,000 American scientists on Mars face a painful choice: stay to study or flee for their lives. A commander says, "We could find life, but the cost might be our own lives." The debate divides the community, mirroring humanity's struggles on Earth. Long-term impacts loom. Mars's atmosphere thickens, but dust storms make the planet nearly uninhabitable. America, with dreams of colonizing Mars, faces the reality that the moon has turned that dream into a nightmare. The community feels powerless. An American astronaut gazing at the moon in Mars's sky says, "It used to be ours. Now it's destroying everything." A sense of helplessness spreads as both Earth and Mars suffer. Desperate efforts. The artificial moon at the Kennedy Space Center, NASA launches AstroLuna, the most ambitious project in American history. The goal? Build 10 supermassive satellites using quantum gravity tech to mimic the moon's pull. The project consumes 80% of the federal budget. It forces the government to strip mine lithium in Nevada and uranium in Utah, causing severe pollution. Thousands of workers in Pittsburgh factories toil day and night, but resource shortages spark riots in Ohio. In 2080, AstroLuna goes online, restoring small tides in San Diego. But the joy is short-lived. One satellite loses control and crashes into Seattle, triggering a tsunami that drowns the city, killing 200,000 people. America is divided. Scientists at MIT urge the project to continue, believing AstroLuna is the only hope. But residents of devastated states, from Oregon to Idaho, protest in Washington, D.C., holding signs, "Stop AstroLuna! Earth doesn't need a fake moon." A NASA engineer, standing amid Seattle's ruins, whispers, "We wanted to save the planet, but maybe we've destroyed it." Losing the moon, losing ourselves. The moon was more than a celestial body. It was the heartbeat of the oceans, the compass of the skies, and the inspiration of America. So when the moon vanished and Deimos took its place, America lost the waves in Miami, the springs in Yosemite, and the moonlight in Central Park. On Mars, the moon brought hope for life but also disaster. AstroLuna was humanity's final effort, but the cost was too high, in resources and morality. A little girl in San Francisco stands on a waveless beach, holding a drawing of the moon her grandmother made. She looks up at the sky, where Deimos is just a faint speck. An AstroLuna satellite looms, casting a cold, artificial glow, unable to match the moon's old light. She whispers, "Moon, I've never seen you, but I miss you." A rare breeze blows, carrying a small wave, a reminder that Earth is still alive, if only barely.